Welcome back, all you listeners. Boy, what a great Friday it is. Temperatures getting cold outside. Holidays are coming. But let me tell you what I got special today. That's right, folks. I've got a co-host for the first time ever on E's and B's, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce to you the champion from Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dustin Uhrich.
That's right, man. How about your first co-host? Nobody better than the Vulture, the Rocky Mountain Pro Champion, Dustin Uhrich, live and in the flesh.
That's right, man. We set the bar high on this show, and there's no better way to start it off, first time ever, than having you, my man. Welcome back.
I hate to tell you, but it's all downhill from here. So good luck with the rest of these shows. But
well, just like you, man, we got to maintain and stay on top. That's the goal. You know, we got to be there.
Well, next time I come back, I can raise it again. So that's why I'm trying to raise my own bar, you know.
All right. Well, it's good to have you back anyways. And like I said, first time ever. I hope you packed your breakfast or are ready for breakfast because we've got a full plate today. Assigned seating only, 6 feet apart. Breakfast is going to be served real soon here, Dustin. Are you ready, my bud?
I'm down, man. Breakfast is my favorite.
All right, man. Welcome to the sunny side up of things here on the E's and B's. Well, champ, NASCAR ended up last week. It's over this year, and we've got a new first-time champion, and now a 3-time father and son duo champion in NASCAR. That's right. Chase Elliott pulls off the victory. What do you think about that, my guy?
It's crazy, man. Like, honestly, myself, like I don't watch a lot of NASCAR, but I hear stuff like I can't help but like everybody's talking about it. Like,
yeah, it's popular,
like, all over the internet, man. Like all over social media. Like I seen like, you know, my cousin, her husband, they're talking about. They're all excited. My buddy, he's out in the Air Force out in England, and he's all excited that you know that's their guy. Like he's like.
He's definitely
one of the people's champ. A lot of people are excited about Chase winning.
Yeah, exactly. People's champ, as we salute here on the E's and B's because we love wrestling. But yeah, if you didn't know, it was the third time a father and son have won a championship. But also, champ, if you didn't know this, if you listened last week on the Jumbo Breakfast episode with your boy Jumbo Zamore there at Rocky Mountain, I predicted Chase Elliott would be the champion. Now, I did say Kevin Harvick way back before when the playoffs started, but once Harvick got knocked out before the last round, I predicted going into Phoenix last week and Chase Elliott was going to win. So pretty proud of myself there. Yeah, definitely. Hey, another thing, moving right along here on the sunny side up, Dustin. Well, yesterday it started. It was supposed to be in April, but it's back in November. That's right, the Masters. Do you watch golf at all, bud?
Not very much. Like I like golf. Once in a great while, I would even play golf. I'm terrible, but I would play it. But I don't know. I never really watched golf much. But you know.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's abnormal with this crazy stuff that's been going on all year long, and things have changed. So obviously, they're playing in November. Normally, this would be played in April. So.
Yeah, that's insane. Like,
just what I watched, of course, I'm a Tiger Woods fan. Who wouldn't be at my age? But just from what I've watched here just the last 2 days or day and a half, I guess it would be, the course is in beautiful shape. Tiger is on his game, which is amazing because he hasn't – none of these guys have played very much golf. Obviously, we're getting into the winter season, so there's only certain places you can play golf at. But it looks like it's going to shake out, Dustin, to be a very, very close one on Sunday. And we might have a new first-timer or we could have a repeat champion. So we'll dive a little bit more into that on the Scrambled Egg segment, Dustin, here in a little bit. And maybe I'll get you to, I don't know, predict who you think's going to win.
All right.
I know one thing here on the E's and B's. We do love all you listeners out there. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow us. Also, follow my man, Dustin. He's on Twitter and everything else. We'll let you know a little bit more about that here before we go. But we're going to jump in, Dustin, to my other favorite sport. It's football time, buddy. The NFL. We're going to dive into just a couple matches, wrestling, couple games this week. And then
something like that.
we'll talk a few other things. I'll see what you pick your brain on it, Dustin. We all know that as you're here from Colorado, your favorite football team is who?
I love the Broncos. Like my two teams, the Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles, because I got family back east, so I always grew up watching the Eagles too. But
Okay.
unfortunately, this year both my teams are trash.
Well, I wouldn't say that much. I mean, the Eagles have a chance to still win their division, even though they've only won like 3 games.
Yeah,
And the Broncos are trying to squeeze it out week by week, but we'll see what happens there. But what I want to talk about, what happened last week, was the Steelers, who survived a close one.
yeah.
That's right. They snuck out a 24-19 win over the Cowboys, and the only reason why I'm saying this and even bringing this game up is because they were down the whole game. Big Ben got hurt, came back, but I'm a Dolphins fan, of course, Dustin, and we know that the 72 Dolphins streak is still on the line, and these Steelers are still undefeated. So maybe this week, because what I want to talk about as well is they had, after this victory, they squeezed it out to stay undefeated going into this weekend. But they've had some issues going up through this week where COVID's hit them hard. So chances are some things could be different as they play the Bengals this Sunday. But pretty crazy. Did you get the chance to check any of that out there, Dustin? That was a wild game because we know the Cowboys are down and out. Their season's over. It's a wrap. It's been a wrap since week 2. And
that's why I didn't think it would even be as close as it was. Like, and I mean, I know they still had issues with Ben and everything, like you said, but I'm like, really? Like,
it's insane.
but you never know. Like, on any given day, anybody can get beat by anybody. So
that's right. That's why we love the NFL. You're absolutely right on that. Next up, we got the Bills in a shootout win over the Seahawks, 44-34. That's another game, Dustin, I'm talking about. I really could have used a Seahawks victory as a Dolphins fan, but let's not be a homerism over here, and let's really talk about what's going on in Buffalo, and they're for real, man. What do you think?
They're looking good, and they're always like a distant team. I always kind of like since I was younger, when they were hot back in the '90s. Like I was always pulling for them.
We're roughly the same age. We know what happened in the '90s. You know what I mean? They were real good then too. And how many championships do they have?
I know, big fat 0.
Right, exactly. So we'll still keep our eye on them. Like I said, the Dolphins are in that division, so I keep a very close eye on them. We'll see if they make a statement moving forward, or if this is still just a fairy tale in Buffalo land.
Hopefully they keep going.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well, hopefully, I hope anyway.
Yeah, well, definitely. Hey, like I said, I'm not going to keep it too homerism on here, but that's all right. Next up, we got the Chiefs, who another team that we would have thought had this in the bag. They almost lost to the Panthers, Dustin. I know you were watching that game a little bit closer than I was, being that your team's in that division. Yeah, it was too close to call, really, for them. Why they shouldn't have never really been in that situation. Yeah, Carolina right now is on a downward spiral. Maybe going to bounce back up. I don't know, but they're not a solid team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're kind of struggling a little bit more than than you would think they would be on paper anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. So, but the true story is maybe there's a little bit more into the Chiefs, and they might be a little bit more beatable than what people think. And that's what I'm looking at. We'll wrap up the game here review with, of course, the last game is the Dolphins, buddy. They pulled the win out over the Cardinals of Arizona. And, let's be honest, if you go back and look at all of the predictions all weekend long, leading all the way up to game time, nobody picked Miami again. And it bit them in the butt, and it's kind of cool for me to see because – as we all know, it's Tua time, Dustin. He's the real deal. He's 2-0. He's Tua time. And I was interested to see how he'd match up against Kyler Murray. And it was, for me, tit for tat. Murray got him on the running yards. Here's a little stats for you. Tua, 20 for 28, 248 yards for 2 touchdowns. He only rushed for 35 yards, though, Dustin. But still, he gets the victory.
That's all that counts in the end, man. It doesn't matter how you win, how you lose.
But let's not throw too much shade on them because it was a good game. Dolphins, last week rode the defense out, on Tua's opening starting time or first game ever starting. This week, he showed that he's true. He's for real. But Kyler Murray, 21 of 26 for 283 with 3 touchdowns. But here's the key factor, Dustin. 106 yards rushing.
There you go. Jeez.
With the loss, though. With the L.
Yeah.
That's so – it was a good game to see. The Dolphins got the Chargers this week, which is another thing I was talking about last week. They've got a rookie quarterback in Herbert, which everybody loves. I think he's amazing. And I think going forward between Burrow, Tua, and Herbert, the future looks bright. I really do.
Yeah. I got something going, so we'll see how it happens.
Okay, Dustin. Well, for the NFL, other winners last Sunday were the Falcons, Ravens, Texans, Vikings, Titans, Giants, Raiders, and the Saints smashed old Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, 38-3.
I'm good with that.
Other stories, like we said, we'll keep a close eye on the Steelers with the COVID situation. We'll see if, as of right now, it looks like Big Ben will be starting, but things could change overnight. We know that. We still have 2 days to go.
Yep.
And yeah, we're just gonna keep a close eye on the rookies, quarterbacks, Dustin. I think it's good. Like I said, the future's bright. It's gonna be great. And I can't wait to talk about it next week and see what happens. So, you got anything else there for the NFL recap this week, buddy?
Not much, man. I'm just hoping my teams can do a little bit better next week. I'm not I wouldn't be betting on that, but
well, you never know. Just be positive, and we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, we'll see, and we'll see if anybody else gets hit with. I heard that the Eagles got somebody in their place had COVID this week, and I'm sure others did too, and maybe the millionth one of the Patriots will show up too. They got COVID, and how are they still even playing this year? I don't even know, but
like I said, we got 2 more days to wait it out and see what happens. Hey, a little side note for you. I don't know about you, Dustin, but I also do love college football. The college football's been back for a while. We have not talked about it much at all here on E's and B's. We will be diving into college football coming very, very soon. I just want to say that, my Hoosiers are shocking the world, and Notre Dame as well. We'll talk a little bit later about that with Lauren. But Dustin, we're going to move into everybody's favorite part of the Sunny Side Up segment. Yep, that's right, buddy. It's going to be the wrestling part of the segment. Buddy, we're going to dive through all 5 brands here. What I do, Dustin, is we just go over each match. We don't have to discuss everything. We could just talk winners, losers, maybe if you saw it, if you didn't see it, stuff like that. I know me and you talked earlier. I know you've been very busy there at Rocky Mountain Pro, also with your personal life and stuff like that, and didn't have enough time to probably check all 5 of these brands out, and that's okay, bud. I'll walk you through it, but I'm sure you got to see a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've seen some little bits here and there and some clips, and I watch, little bits of stuff here, and I try to read as, when I can on some of the highlights or, the main points of stuff. And there's a lot going on in wrestling right now, even with all the stuff going on. So wrestling's always crazy, man.
Definitely. I find myself going down each avenue, as far as pro, and then following you guys. And it's just, man, it's nonstop for me, and I love it. And yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on for sure right now. We're going to start out with SmackDown, which happened last Friday because obviously tonight's SmackDown. So we can't report what's going to happen when it hasn't happened yet. But last week, Dustin, starting the show out, Sasha Banks put it on her best friend, Bayley, again. What do you think about that?
And that's they just will not end it, they just can't get enough of each other. They just
let's
keep
be
going
honest.
at it.
Let's be honest, all right? I agree. I love both those chicks. I think they're top talent. They're the top talent. But
yep.
What else they got to do there right now? Charlotte's not there. Becky's not there. You can only have
the roster's not as deep.
You can only have so much of Asuka, and yeah, it's limited. But yet, we all knew this storyline was coming. We knew that way back when. But I wasn't seeing it like this. I was thinking it might not go down this way, and it was. It's gonna be good. I think a good couple more months, maybe we'll see before this is actually finally finished and we get a complete end to that story. After that, Dustin, they had another qualification match, and Baron Corbin gets the win over Rey Mysterio. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
in my
I don't
opinion,
know,
not
just the
much.
whole
I
stuff with
mean,
like all the, I don't know, with the family and stuff, and
yeah, we'll
sometimes
keep
that
it
stuff
rolling
is
because
not,
there was
you
some
know,
definitely some more family stuff a little bit later. The next
yeah,
match was a three-way match, and we saw a new thing we was not expecting. That's right, Ruby Riott cut her hair. Pretty cool, I think. Still green. It's short, but it's pretty cool. And she got the win over Zelina Vega and Natty in another qualifier match there for their Survivor Series, which is coming up on the 22nd, which is going to be kind of cool. I think they're going back to a little bit of the old school style. I'm a huge fan of the elimination style where
yep,
whoever's left standing fights at the end of the night, again, in a battle royal or whatever. We're definitely both, you and I, Dustin, love the old
yeah,
school. We'll talk a lot more about that in the meat segment because we got a special thing. Both Dustin and I are going to dive into a little bit of Survivor Series 91 and 92. But let's dive through the rest of these wrestling venues here. We had, after that, we had Seth Rollins getting a win over Otis, but Otis controlled the match, and we know Otis is from Rocky Mountain Pro, Dozer being known back then in the Rocky
yep.
Mountain days. But look, he was manhandling Seth. It was great to watch, but controversy has to happen every time Seth Rollins is out there. And we know that between Murphy and Rey Mysterio's daughter, things didn't end out too well for Otis. Did you happen to get any of Otis's match in there, Dustin?
Yeah, especially whenever I try to follow any of the wrestling, I definitely try to see, if nothing else, clips of him since he came up with us and
Sure.
helped, I wrestled him and helped train him and stuff. We all helped train him and everything, and so I was obviously pulling for him, but yeah, it wasn't to be. Like you said, anytime Seth Rollins is out there, controversy follows, and unfortunately for Otis, it ended with a curb stomp, and
Yeah,
that
it
was it.
did. That's unfortunate. You're right. Like I said, though, he looked good. I just wish they'd write him off a little bit better story than what he's been dealing with here recent. But after that, as
Yeah.
we keep things rolling here, Jay Uso in the main event gets a statement win over Kevin Owens. What do you think about that, Dustin? Did you get a chance to see that?
Yeah, I saw that. And, I don't know. That whole thing's crazy too, with uh, the whole Samoan dynasty family and everything.
I'm
Like
digging it. I'm digging
I
it,
think
man.
that one's a lot better than the other family storylines. And
Here's a spoiler for you. Paul Heyman. Ha, spoiler. This was the show of the 5 this week. And I'm going to tell you right now, straight off the top, it's Sasha Banks and Bailey storyline, and this storyline, and the
yep,
Mysterio family storyline. Right now in wrestling, that's the 3 best storylines going. Now, I can say they have messed up some parts of it, here and there. That's my opinion.
yeah,
But if you want to throw all 5 brands in a barrel this week, I think SmackDown put together the best show just because of these storylines. You can't
yeah.
beat them.
I think that's interesting. Like you said, those ones, but especially the whole Roman Reigns, like, as a heel, like,
It's getting better every time. I wasn't sure if Jey Uso was going to be the right answer of how they went forward after beating him up. I thought maybe it'd be done away with. I still predict on my show a couple weeks ago. I think the future is The Rock, Dustin. I think that
yeah. I remember you said that. I hope so. Like, that would
I
be
don't
interesting.
know. We'll see. I don't know. Let's keep things moving. We'll move right into Raw, which happened Monday night. Not a bad show. They set up the 6-man, for the end of the night at the very beginning. But the first match was another qualifier, and it was three guys, 2 of them who got a second chance. But Riddle, as they call him now, no longer Matt Riddle, which is
That's
ridiculous.
weird. Yeah,
Ridiculous. He got the win over Hardy Elias. Poor Elias, once again. He just they keep beating him down. But moving right on. After that, we had another match with Lana where we thought for sure we were going to see her thrown through the table again, but it didn't happen this time. Shayna Baszler gets the win, but she was
broke her little
saved.
streak.
Yeah, she was saved by Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. And luckily, I think if those girls weren't there, things were going to happen on the bad end for her. After that, we had another match with Riddle as he tagged up with Keith Lee, and he got the win over Sheamus and Braun Strowman. Now, these 4 guys are going to be partners Sunday, the 22nd at Survivor Series, Dustin, but they're fighting each other. I don't get it. What do you think? Why? Are they just trying to build each other's competitiveness, or what? What do you think?
Maybe because those are like 4 of the baddest dudes around. And if they're on the same page, they're going to be one hell of a team. But like you said, with them just fighting each other recently on Raw, I don't know if that's actually going to work for them. So,
well, it's 2 weeks in a row that team's kind of had to fight with each other. AJ Styles being the captain, even though they're saying he's not the captain, he's putting together these fights each week. Could be a storyline coming out of that. We'll keep a close eye on that. Moving right along, after that, we have Bobby Lashley, as we all know from here, Colorado.
Yep.
Getting the win over Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil, not too long ago, was trying to be one part of the Hurt Business, but still can't get himself in the door. After that, Asuka getting the win over Nikki Jax. Another, I don't know. I don't even want to dive into that, Dustin. I'm sorry. It's just, I love them both. I'm getting burnt out on it a little bit as far as
not digging it. Yeah, I get
the
you.
Asuka, the screaming and yelling, and the Nikki Jax gimmick. Yeah, we know you're bigger than all the other girls. We know you're tougher than all the other girls. But you sure as hell can't move like the other girls. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
So after that, they had Mustafa Ali getting a very, very, very good win over Ricochet. Now that, my friend, was a great match. Did you catch any of that?
I didn't see that match, but I heard about it and I was like, what? That's
just technical, or well, not as technical as we would say on the ground technical, but there's some cool new moves that I haven't really, not newer, but whatever, just good moves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you don't see him as much. Yeah.
Here's my problem, Dustin, and I've said it week in, week out. I can't stand the Retribution gimmick. It's retarded. It's the worst thing out there. The push for it has been pushed down the drain, in my opinion. And I think Mustafa Ali as a wrestler is better by himself than being with this group, or a leader of this group, if you want to say. He's smaller than everybody in that group. He's the leader. I mean, to me, that just shows lack of power. But after that, they had the main event to round out Raw, Dustin, and it was Drew McIntyre in the New Day getting the win over Randy Orton and Miz Morrison. Now, this, as I said, started out from the beginning of the night, but who would ever thought that Drew McIntyre would be teaming up with New Day?
I just think this is another one where just all the people involved is just so weird to see them together. Like Orton, Miz, Morrison, New Day, Drew McIntyre. Like, I would have never bet seeing these guys together, like, ever.
Yeah, I made a note about a week ago, Dustin, about this, just how WWE in general they're shoving some of these storylines down our throat. And what I mean by that is they're forcing us with matches like this that don't make any sense, don't have very much, but maybe a day of a storyline, or
it's kind of like
a 30-second promo storyline.
Yeah, did you ever watch that? Like, I think it was the '95 Survivor Series where they just had the most random teams ever, and it was just like, what?
It kills me. That's the worst part I hate about it.
I
wish they would just get back to when it made sense. They could have been building this up for a little bit longer, and then now they just I don't know. My opinion, jamming down us. Hey, you're listening to the E's and B's podcast. We got the champion, Dustin Uhrich from Rocky Mountain Pro with us today, co-host, and man, we're ready to move right into Impact. Did you get the chance to see any of that?
I didn't this week, but
okay, well, you didn't miss much.
A lot of crazy stuff going on lately.
No.
At least I didn't miss much.
It's a go-home show for Impact as they're going into Turning Point this Saturday, tomorrow night. But I love Impact because I know there's awesome talent there. We won't spend much time on it because honestly, like I said earlier, when you don't have much choice on talent because talent is limited with the situation we're in, here on Impact, I feel like we keep seeing the same matches week in, week out. So they started the show off with Havoc and Nevaeh getting the win over Dashwood and Madison Ray. Raju, he was the champion, or he is the Division X champion. He got the win over TJP, but the storyline behind that is he is no longer allowed to fight for that title. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if you knew that, Dustin. He's fought for it for his last time. So
At least for now. Like,
yeah, we all know stipulations change.
nothing, never say never.
People
in
forget,
wrestling.
right? People forget.
Right.
People forget. After that, Chris Sabian got the win over AC Ramiro. But after the match, AC Ramiro and Larry jumped Sabian. Kind of crazy. Them dudes are huge. Huge dudes.
Yeah.
After that, one of my favorites, Eddie Edwards, in a very, very outstanding match, gets the win over Chris Bay. But Sammy plots and attacks after, and he attacks Eddie Edwards. So storyline ended, turning point, turns a little bit. We'll see what happens going forward. Then we had Reno Scum getting a win over Falaba la 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 la. No, that's Christmas, right?
Something like that.
Him and Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve. Now that's a character there. Some guy that I learned a lot about from the House of Hardcore podcast. If you haven't ever heard that, go check it out. But I didn't know he was blind and all that, man. It's just a great story. Amazing.
Good. I didn't know that either.
Oh, he's blind.
I didn't know that. I got to check that out. I didn't know much about him, but.
So, yeah, check out Tommy Dreamer, House of Hardcore. There's a shout-out podcast. He had Crazy Steve on a while back, and, yeah, dude, it's wild. So, after that, they had the main event for the evening. It was Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows going up against the North. They got the win. Or they got the win because of DQ, and the reason being the Motor Machine Guns. Motor City Machine Guns, right?
Yep, Motor City Machine Guns.
I try not to say it too fast because I know I'm going to screw it up. I screw it up no matter what. But, yeah, they got the DQ called, and basically we're still stuck on this three-way battle for a tag title, Dustin. And I know that Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the good brothers, which I love listening to them as well, but they haven't won the title yet. They're the only ones out of the three that haven't had the title. So I see that happening before the end of the year, don't you?
Yeah, I would be surprised. I mean,
maybe tomorrow night. Maybe tomorrow night.
Exactly.
Well, that rounds out the Impact show. We're going to keep things moving as we jump right into Wednesday night NXT. Not a bad show as well. Did you catch any of the NXT, Dustin?
I didn't get to see any NXT this week, but
it's not bad, not bad. I'm just kind of hyped about it because I know you know about Pat McAfee, former kicker of the Indianapolis Colts. He is back with them, and he just puts on the best promo out there. Well,
he's
not
great,
the best out there, but he is close.
Yeah,
he
I'm
keeps
still
it
surprised
interesting.
he stayed around, but after his initial appearance, but
that first one almost was too good to top, if you want my opinion. I mean, it was a very good showing, and I like the swerve that he threw on us. We didn't see him, come in this direction with this group that he's got set up. But beginning the night out, Johnny Gargano, he has that wheel of whatever it is called, and he ended up getting it spun on Leon Ruff as a setup. I think he was trying to spice himself up to make himself look good. Well, what happened, Dustin, is he lost. He's no longer the champ, man. He burned his own self.
Yeah, that sometimes that can happen, but
Damian Priest, he was loving it. He also, helped out Ruff by handing him the keys to get the hell out of Dodge, after it was all said and done, as Gargano was looking for him, trying to get another shot back at his belt. But, yeah, pretty crazy way to start the night out. Somebody nobody's really ever heard of. Also, Gargano has just went through everything to get this title, and then, man, what a way to lose it.
That's definitely not expected. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think a good storyline. I'm sure we'll probably see it back on him very shortly. After that, Escobar, the Cruiserweight champion, he got the win over Jake Atlas. I really like him, too. I like that whole little three-faction they got going on there. Those dudes are pretty tough.
Yeah.
Keeping it moving, Candice LeRae got the win over Toni Storm. But the Candice LeRae used the ropes to get the pin. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Never.
Right. That's dirty.
Or at least if I did, I wouldn't get caught,
Yeah, well, she didn't either, so she got the win. After that, Timothy Thatcher getting the win over Dexter Lumis. But the reason being Cameron Grimes interfering. We know Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes had one of my not-so-favorite things, Dustin, and that's a cinematic match. just on the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, but Halloween Havoc show they had just a couple weeks ago. Dude, I hate those things. What do you
I
think
remember
about
you're
those?
not a fan of those.
Yeah, well, he's scared of zombies and yada, yada, yada. And now here he is distracting Dexter Lumis, who got him prior. So we'll see how that storyline goes. Hopefully they keep all that stuff out of it and we'll just wrestle. After that, the main event, they had Lorcan and Birch. They got the win. Now, these guys are managed now by Pat McAfee, or they're teamed with Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Dune, whatever you want to say. They stole the titles from Undisputed just a couple weeks ago. We know that. Well, now they're fighting Breezango, or Retardo, or whatever. But they got the win over him. But it was because I think mainly Dustin, the distraction of Pat McAfee and Dune being on the outside.
Yeah, it'd be hard to face those guys because they're always going to be out there. They're always going to be running their mouth. They're always going to be into something.
Yeah, and let's be honest. It's just like the Undisputed Era, right? It's just a different name, different people
They're just
doing the
switching it
same.
up on them. That's all.
Doing the same style of thing that the Undisputed Era, I think, in my opinion, would be doing. But I can't wait to see this going forward. I think that we're going to have a showdown between the 4 of those guys and the 4 of Undisputed Era. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And that's going to round out the NXT. Last up here, we got AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. Yep, their follow-up show after Full Gear, Dustin. Did you get a chance to see Full Gear or any highlights of that?
I didn't see Full Gear. I saw some highlights and stuff of little bits here and there of this week's Dynamite, but yeah, I didn't get to see Full Gear. But
Full Gear was banging.
They always have some
banging.
Great pay-per-views, though.
They've been doing well the last few. I know the last one actually everybody disliked as much, but let's just in general this year they've been doing very well in my opinion.
Yeah,
and definitely in the COVID era, I think they've set the bar. We definitely know WWE has copied. They've copied from each other, but
yeah,
they're doing a good job in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they start the night out with Cage up against Matt Sydal. Man, a beast of a guy. Brian Cage is. Matt Sydal.
Yeah.
Very, very talented, but we all know that Ricky Starks was at ringside. Very, very distracting. Things didn't go well for Matt Sydal. And afterwards, of course, Taz come out and things were said. Pretty cool. After that, Cody came out to the crowd to explain his loss at Full Gear to the new champion, Dustin. That's Darby Allin, the TNT champion. What do you think about that, man?
That's crazy, man. I mean, that's just, that might be what Darby needs to get to that next level, though, and beating someone like Cody's caliber and taking the title away from him, like, that's huge, man. So,
yeah, he's claiming he's the new face of TNT, the new face of AEW. We'll see. I think he's got a little bit more room to fill in those britches, but we'll see.
Yep.
But the main story of this, Dustin, was Cody was explaining himself, and out comes some random chick that nobody knew, very buff.
I saw that, yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with that girl. I need to get her on my team instead of – we need to bring her over.
Got you. Yeah, let me round her up for you. We'll get her to the wake, and we'll make some things happen. But, yeah, as she was laying the law down with Cody, putting him down, out come Mama Brandy. Mama Brandy put on the best promo, Dustin, I think I've ever seen her put on ever.
Yep.
Did you see it? Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard some of that, and I knew it was only a matter of time before once she came out, I knew Brandy was coming out. Like,
yes. Ease and Bees Land. If you have not heard this promo, please go back and listen to it. Even if you're not a Brandy fan, it's well worth it. I had a flashback a little bit. I mean, I've heard it more than once from several people that kind of act in that tone, as we may say. So very, very interesting. As was brought up was Shaq, the name Shaq Dustin. So I don't know if that's Big Daddy Diesel and Cody, if that's going to be a good thing or not. I know Shaq's been thrown around a lot lately. Obviously has ties with TNT, being that he's on the basketball. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes going forward. I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, and obviously Shaq's he's interested. Like, he's a big wrestling fan. Like, he's been around since like '94. You know, like in wrestling, off and on. He just every once in a while, he just got to get back in there and
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. We'll see how it goes. After that, they had the bunkhouse brawl. QT Marshall and Dustin. Of course, Dustin should be very, very educated in this match. They got the
Yep.
win over Butcher and Blade, but it was a very good match. One of my more favorite matches of the night, I guess, for AEW. After that, MJF come out to get his induction into the inner circle, which was great. And then he presented the fellas with a ticket to Vegas, Dustin.
I saw that they're
Man, I
all
wish I could
excited.
be presented with a ticket to Vegas just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that too. Yeah.
Sammy not there to accept it, and later on accepting, and there's still a little storyline coming out of that. I can see that here very, very soon. Whether it's Sammy leaving or whatever, but we'll save that for a rainy day. After that, we had Shawn Spears in a match that was supposed to go down last week. Obviously, it happens this week due to certain circumstances, but he gets the win over Scorpio Sky due to a little bit of sneakery. My man Tully playing his tricks. Pretty cool. I think it was.
Master.
Yeah, I mean, it was sly. I like it. I see something coming soon in the future, maybe with FTR and Shawn Spears. We'll see. And then after that, the main event for the evening was a replay of a couple weeks ago as well in the qualifier match, Dustin, they had. And it was the brothers, Ray Phoenix going up against his brother, Penta El Zero. Man, they put on a hell of a match the first time. This time around, I think they were trying a little bit too hard. It still was good. I still think it was entertaining. And maybe the match of the night. Maybe. Did you happen to see any of
It's
that?
up there anyway. It might not. I don't know if it's math. Yeah, it's. I mean, everything's always up for debate. But yeah,
I
that'd be one
got
of
you.
the top
Yeah,
ones.
definitely. So that's how they ended out the night. They got a lot of great things coming up next week, so I can't wait to see what happens. Like I said, tomorrow night, don't forget, Turning Point for Impact, and then next Sunday, Survivor Series. Well, talking about Survivor Series, Dustin, that's right. It's the meat segment. Let's get into the meat segment this week, Dustin. We're going to dive right in to Survivor Series old school style, buddy. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. I love it. I love any of the old school stuff. I love it.
All right, on. Honestly, I'll go first just because I'm the host here. Just kidding. No, I'll go first here. I'm going to talk a little bit about 1992 Survivor Series. We are celebrating this month, Dustin, on E's and B's all month long, 30 years of The Undertaker. So we'll touch a little bit about that. Obviously, Undertaker was in both shows that we're going to watch or talk about, excuse me. I'm doing 92 like I spoke, and obviously Dustin will be talking about 91 a little bit here shortly after I'm done. But jumping right in, 1992, November 25th, obviously for me that's a big date now because that's my daughter's birthday nowadays. So it's pretty cool to match that something up with. Richfield, Ohio was where the city they were at. 17,500 people in attendance. Not a bad crowd. I liked it. It started out pretty good. We didn't see the dark match, but the first match of the night, the Head Shrinkers up against High Energy. I love the Head Shrinkers. If you don't know Dustin, obviously their manager is Roman Reigns' father. Fatu or was in there. Just a bunch of storylines coming out of there. Pretty cool. But as a kid, I loved the Head Shrinkers. I loved everything about them. They were scary, but they were cool.
Yep, they're awesome.
Yeah, after that, they had a nightstick on a pole match. First time ever. There's a couple first time evers in this 92 Survivor Series. But it was the Big Boss Man up against old Nails. You remember Nails?
I do, man. Like, he was there for a short while. Like, I even still have an old action figure of his, like, mint in the box somewhere still.
No kidding. Cool. Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah, I was pulling for Boss Man that night.
Yeah, that was when he was a face, obviously, and everybody was in love with him there. But he obviously got the win. It was an okay match, just different, like I said.
Yep.
After that, they had Rick Martel getting the win over Tatanka. Yeah, we'll skip on next to the match. After that, though, was a great match, Dustin. Let me tell you about Macho Man and Mr. Perfect going up against Ric Flair and Razor Ramon. Dude, just think about that 4 combo I just said right there.
That was a great match. Like, some of the best wrestlers you could ever think of, and
Well,
The
who ever
only
thought
thing
Macho Man and Perfect would have been a tag combo? Because I didn't.
I know,
I mean,
like,
I remembered it obviously, but like you think about in '92, I don't know. Anyways, my point being, Perfect has always been a fake or a heel, in my eyes, and just hard to see him teaming up with Macho Man, who obviously was face at that time, the star, because obviously
it
Hogan
was a
was
cool
gone by then.
combo, though. Yeah, it was a cool combo, and it was cool because now you find out later on that those guys were really friends. Him and Perfect, Macho and Perfect, that is. And the only thing I was disappointed with is originally it was supposed to be the Ultimate Warrior and Macho.
It was, and dude, check this out. That's funny you say that. I was looking some stuff today, going through my notes, and I found a few things online. And I don't know if you're watching on home or on YouTube here at home or whatever on your phone, if you can kind of see here. Here's a little bit of a
Yep.
program for '92, and like you said, Dustin, right there they have Warrior, Macho.
I remember seeing that ad in like the magazines in WWF magazine, and I was stoked. And then I was like,
Yeah, and we all
I
know what
saw this
happens
stuff
after
come out with
that.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Very good match. Later on in the show, Macho Man and Mr. Perfect do a hilarious promo with some raw turkey and chicken.
Yeah.
It's great. After that, Yokozuna makes a debut, or not a debut, but makes a show up on this here card against Virgil, which, let's be honest, that should have never happened. Virgil should never have been in the ring, in my opinion. He
It's just
wins.
like a squash match.
It was a squash match because Yokozuna wins with the bonsai drop.
Well, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this should have been on the dark side, but that's okay. I think they got to get Yokozuna in there. After that, another great match happened. It was a Survivor Series tag team survival match. And what we had was four tag teams, two on each side, going up against each other. If your partner got eliminated, Dustin, you're out. So it was a great match to watch. The natural disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, they got, along with the Nasty Boys, they get the win over Money Inc., which was the IRS man, which we all know, Mike Rotunda, and
Yep.
Ted DiBiase. They teamed up with the Beverly Brothers, and it was a good match. It was action-packed. The Nasty Boys kept the crowd in it every time they stepped through the ropes. I enjoyed every minute of it. Do you remember seeing any of that?
Yeah, and like you said, it's some crazy teams to see together. And like you said, I think the Nasties are, well, I mean, a lot of those teams are, but I think they're especially are one of the more underrated tag teams. Like they're not going to have no 5-star amazing match with, showing the crazy athleticism, but
Well, yeah,
they
you
have
throw
some
all four of
crazy
these.
awesome matches too.
There's some studs in these 8 gentlemen in here, obviously, but yeah, you throw all 4 of these teams in there at the same time. We're gonna have some bump up shakeups.
Yep.
Well, Dustin, after that was probably one of my favorite matches of the card, except for the main event, which was after this match, and it was the Undertaker match. Like I said, 30 years of Undertaker here on the E's and B's, and this is one I want to touch on because honestly, this is the very first time we had a casket match.
Yeah,
1992, it wasn't considered a casket match. It was considered a coffin match. And the crazy part about it, Dustin, and I watched it over again, like I said this morning, he literally had to drive the nail home. And what I mean by that, literally figuratively, is he had to drive nails into this man-made coffin, which was big enough for his opponent, Kamala.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, I remember watching the lead up to that, and I was like, "What does this mean, a coffin match? Like, they're really gonna like just seal
Yeah,
this dude up in a
definitely
coffin
as a
and
kid, I
ship him
remember too.
out?"
I wasn't sure, like it doesn't make sense because gimmick matches weren't a huge thing. Cage matches were, gimmick matches weren't. And
Yeah,
well, I'll be honest, Kamala, when I first saw Kamala, kind of spooked me a little bit as a kid before I saw The Undertaker. But what's
yeah,
funny here is how spooked Kamala is about The Undertaker and
yep,
everything about the whole situation. That's by far the best part of the whole match is before it even starts, Harvey Wippleman and Kim Chi have to calm Kamala down just to even get the match started. They
yeah.
walk him
He's
over,
terrified.
show him the coffin, like, yo, it's good. Like, it's just a coffin. There's nothing in it. And It was a great match. Undertaker held his own, of course. We always have heard that Kamala's hard to work with, but he did a great job, in my opinion. Slammed him 3 times, 3 splashes to the Undertaker. Sits up.
Yep.
What ends up happening was there's a little skirmish on the outside with Paul Bear, which I've got a funny fact for you a little bit later on the Scrambled Eggs segment about him. Paul Bear on the outside has a little skirmish. The urn comes into the ring, which we all know the urn is what gives the Undertaker his powers. It gets thrown into the ring, and Kamala is afraid of it, so he won't pick it up. As it's thrown to him, he even does hot potato drops it. Doesn't want nothing to do with it.
I remember that.
He's frightened, man. And bam, Undertaker nails him with it. Unfortunately, this time we don't see the tombstone pile driver or nothing like that. It's a 1, 2, 3. Then he rolls his big ass into that coffin, dude. And like I told you earlier, he has sledgehammer, first of all. And second of all, he didn't have no short nails, man. He had the real deal nails. Nailed him home, and that's how that ended that matchup. Like I said, a very good moment to celebrate Undertaker 30 years. Man, pretty cool coffin match. I know you enjoyed that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember like right around that time, or maybe like is that year or the year after. Like I was big into the Undertaker. I dressed up as him as Halloween. Like I think it was that year. And
man, my daughter, my youngest, wanted to go. She's all the way up until about a week or so before Halloween this year. She was going as Undertaker, and then she Elsa. So yeah, 2 sides of the street with that girl. Let me tell you. After that, Dustin, to round out the 1992 Survivor Series, bro, was probably one of everybody's all-time favorite duo matches. That's right. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. You can't go wrong there. I don't care. This is obviously not too long before the Montreal Screwjob. But what this was the world champion, Bret Hart, putting his title on the line against the Intercontinental champ, Shawn Michaels. Man, it was a banger, dude. I loved every minute of it. They kept the crowd in. Even though we know they don't like each other, obviously we didn't know that at the time. But if you go back now and watch it, it's unbelievable how they sell for each other, and how you can just see
they always had great chemistry in tag matches.
Yeah, the respect
and then his
for
first
each
single
other.
runs. Yep. You can't go wrong with those two in the ring. I mean, obviously 2 of the best ever, but that's definitely one of those underrated matches that they've had, not just with each other, just out of all their matches, but
Agree, yeah. Maybe not the best, maybe the best in some people's opinion. Let us know out there at Easy Bees Land. Comment, let us know. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on all the media outlets out there. But Dustin, that's going to wrap up 1992 Survivor Series, man. Pretty good show. Not my favorite Survivor Series of all time. We just picked this one just because, like I said, we're talking about a little bit more about Undertaker this month and Survivor Series as well. But yeah, my favorite kind of, Dustin, to talk about is, those team concepts where elimination is the issue and the last man standing will fight in a battle royal at the end of the night. That's my get up. That's how I love it. But hey, enough about me. Let's dive into the 91 Survivor Series and what you got for it, buddy. Just give us a brief rundown there, bub.
all right. So that one was at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. And just like 92, that's I looked up. They said that 17,500 people.
Really?
Over there, yeah. And I was like, that's pretty crazy. They had a dark match where Tatanka beat Kato, if you remember, of the Orient Express.
Yes, Kato. Oh man, Orient Express. They were a tight little tag team there when they first came out.
Yeah, him and Pat Tanaka they had some good stuff. Like they're pretty good.
If you remember in this era, obviously 91, 92, 93, we're in war era time. So anything foreign versus US, it didn't.
It's always hot.
It was real hot. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. Those are great talents, and I especially like watching. Like, I mean, he wasn't in that match, but like you said, Orient Express, like Pat Tanaka, like he'd always come through here in Colorado. Did some training with him. Like he's a cool guy.
Nice.
The first match on the pay-per-view, everybody always talks about 91, 92, just the amount of talent that they have. Like, there's some in here that aren't like the others, but just listen to this rundown. So the first match is the team with the Mountie, Ric Flair, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and the Warlord, and they defeated Bret Hart, the British Bulldog, Roddy Piper, and Virgil.
Now, see,
That's
the face team, I understand. The heel team, I don't. But then I started thinking about matching up storylines, and as we talked, yeah, that don't make no sense. Kind of
yeah,
weird,
like
but yeah.
I think it's because they had like the Mountie was fighting against Bret Hart, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, Ric Flair's in there. He kind of fights with Piper or whatever, and whoever, and then DiBiase, he obviously has history there with Virgil and Warlords. Kind of had a little feud with Bulldog, I guess. Nothing really hot, but
Right,
kind of
yeah.
thrown together, kind of a little bit
But there's some
tied.
talent there, as you spoke. Yeah, for sure. That's a stacked opener.
Like I said, it's pretty crazy to think of Bret Hart in the opening match of this one, and next year he's in the
The main event.
championship match defending the title.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I kind of wanted to go first because I wanted to. There's some points in there. If I go right ahead, yeah, definitely.
So the next match they had Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Sergeant Slaughter, the Texas Tornado, and Tito Santana, and they beat the Berserker, Colonel Mustafa, who some people might remember as the Iron Sheik,
Iron Sheik, yeah.
and they were teaming with Hercules and Skinner.
I always like Skinner.
But the first, like I told you, the first wrestling show I ever went to, the main event was Tito Santana against Skinner for this championship. And I'll never forget him coming out, tearing up people's signs, spitting that big old wad of chewing tobacco on their sign and throwing it back at these kids. Oh, it was crazy.
Oh, man.
I couldn't tell you many more Skinner matches, but I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you very many at all my damn self, but yeah, I just liked him for some reason because he just the slot. Same with
he's a character.
Sam. Oh God, I can't think of his name. It is. Go ahead from WCW.
I can't think of. I know you're talking about. I can't think of the name right now.
Sam Hansen.
Stan Hansen. Yes.
Stan Hansen. Yes, my fault. Yes, like he was the same way. Him and Skinner in the same boat with slobber.
Rolling all over himself. This one's kind of crazy. Like, they also had in this show, they had a big promo with the Macho Man talking about, he had just recently gotten bit by Jake the Snake's Cobra on WWF Superstar.
Yes.
They had him out there talking about it, and Jake the Snake later on kind of giving his little rebuttal. And you remember watching that feud at all?
Yeah, man, I do. That freaked me out. I am not a snake person, first of all and foremost, but just seeing the bite, man. Woo. Did you ever see the one that Jake did to himself?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Oh. I just like I said, I'm not a snake person, so yeah, definitely crazy storyline, and yeah, we all know the backstory between him and Macho was Macho Man made him have the snake bite him in the locker room before any of that shit went down with him and in the ring.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like,
yeah, that's a wild story. Wild story. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's another one. I remember watching that happen live. I'll never forget that. Like watching him get bit, and then these guys, like I said, they're just here promoting their big feud, and that was a hot feud in '91, man. That was awesome.
Definitely.
'91 leading into '92, and after that led to another big tag team match, Survivor Series match with the Nasty Boys and the Beverly Brothers against. They beat the Bushwhackers and the Rockers.
Oh, nice,
Crazy
nice.
pairings again, huh?
Yeah. Once again, several talented people in there. I mean, up and down, this whole card definitely got a lot of good talent. But
just to think about, so different the teams though, like the Nasties and the Beverly Brothers, and then the Bushwhackers and the Rockers. Like all these teams couldn't be more different. But
yeah, they're definitely from
like
each side of
their own right.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, but I guess when you think about it, it's easier to match up tag teams, even though they may not, mesh together. It's easier to match up because there's 2 and 2. So.
Yeah. Another one they had, so they had it kind of in the middle of the card, I guess, because they didn't want to send the fans home on a bad note. But at this time, we're talking about like 30 years of The Undertaker, the big WWF Championship match with the champion Hulk Hogan defending against The Undertaker here. And I remember this as a kid, especially because, like I said, I was a Hogan guy.
Yeah, we all know Dustin, the
Maniac.
champion, is a Hogan guy. That's why I kind of I fed you this one as well because I wanted to hear what your thoughts were being a Hogan guy.
Yeah, so I remember watching this and like, Undertaker is like, everybody's like, oh my God, like what is this guy? Didn't know what to think about this guy. He came out of nowhere.
It's creepy, man.
I just remember watching this match, like, even as a kid, I was so hyped, like you watch Hogan coming out, he's like ready to go. He's out there destroying, trying to knock over the casket and throwing stuff around. And I remember, I always thought that too. One thing I made a note of is I loved that Gorilla Monsoon used to always say, like, when Hogan would come to the ring, like, the greatest professional athlete in the world today, and making everything just seem so much bigger. And so I was, like, hyped for this match. And I think, maybe it's just me because I'm a Hogan guy, but, like, if you watch some of his matches where, people talk about how he never did any jobs, but it's like if you watch the ones where he's, trying to put over the new guy.
Yeah, he gets over a lot of new people.
He's working hard. Like this match, you could tell it's not. He still does the standard Hogan stuff, but
we could be honest. He probably picks and chooses who he wants to put over. But yeah, like this guy, dead seriously coming into this only a couple years in the game.
Yep.
It's normally Hogan's probably going to not bat an eye at the guy, but with the size, the talent he had, there had to be another reason, that. You can't blame him not to put him over.
Yeah, they had a fun match. Like I liked it anyway, except for obviously as a Hulkamaniac, I didn't like the ending, of course, at the time because there's always Paul Bearer.
It kind of shocked me.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting the title to change hands, I guess, but because as a kid, as me and you grew up as a kid, Hogan was always cream of the top. He pretty much always had the championship or was fighting for it, and if he didn't have it, it was kind of rare.
And if he did drop it, it was a lot like this one where there was a lot of outside interference,
controversy. Yes.
Sticking his nose in his business, and then there's like Ric Flair comes down there, and Hogan knocks him down, and then Flair has to come back up, and Undertaker gets on top and goes for the tombstone. Flair slides in that chair, and he gets the tombstone on the chair. And 1, 2, 3, new WWF champion, The Undertaker, for the very first time.
Wow, pretty impressive. Like you said, 30 years of The Undertaker, winning the championship for the first time. Barely in the business for a year, and he's winning the championship. What a push he's got. That's pretty cool, Dustin.
That's nuts. And it was all uphill from there. And
definitely.
Granted, if you watch, he lost it the next week back to Hulk Hogan, even though there was a lot of interference.
But it doesn't matter. All he needed. That's all he needed. That was the push he needed right then and there. That's all that needed. And
he was a made man.
Look where we're at. 30 years. We all know that everybody has bad and good matches throughout all of their careers, but going into this Survivor Series 2020. He's not going to wrestle, but he'll be there. Yeah. Crazy. 30 years. 30 years. Who would imagine that? So, pretty cool.
Yeah, and the last match of the night, like I said, I think they wanted to leave on a high note after Hogan losing, and they had the Big Boss Man and the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
IRS and the Natural Disasters. I know. I saw you repping the Legion of Doom right there. You're right. I like that old school logo they had there. And but yeah, it was another interesting match. Like I said, I loved Bossman and LOD back in this time, and of course, I hated IRS and the Natural Disasters, but
right, yeah, definitely.
Talent in that match too. Like you can't go wrong with 91, 92. Like
some big boys, but they were talented. That was the thing. Big Boss Man, I loved. He was very talented. He was a big guy all the way through his career. Yeah, but don't throw shade on Earthquake and Typhoon or whatever either, because they were huge, but they could move.
Yep. Yeah, they could all move for big guys, but obviously not as fast as Boss Man. Yeah, that guy could go.
Right, right.
But yeah, that was the '91 Survivor Series. I like I said, they had some. They're not always
That
the most memorable matches, but they had an amazing roster of talent. And
yeah, yeah. And let's be honest with each other here. They what they did, yeah, they just mixed it up, but we got to see a little bit of everybody.
yep, yeah, and that's like you said. I like the old school Survivor matches, and but definitely I think the the main thing that anybody remembers anything about was obviously Undertaker beating Hulk Hogan for his first championship, and rightfully so.
Yep, awesome. I totally agree. Well, Dustin, that's going to wrap up the meat segment this week on the E's and B's podcast. I hope you're enjoying out there, all you listeners and fans. Please like, share, subscribe, follow us on all the social media outlets. Make sure you follow Dustin and Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling too as well. We'll dive into that just a little bit here. But Dustin, we're going to move straight into the scrambled egg segment. I got a little bit of scrambled eggs for you, Dustin, this week. And then I'll get you out of here as Lauren will be coming in to let everybody know what's coming up next on the toast segment. Well, buddy, scrambled egg segment. As you know, on the E's and B's, we do some predicting. We scramble some things up. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
All right, bud. Hey, how about this scrambled egg right off the bat? Are you a video game dude?
I like video games. I don't play very much anymore. I used to play all the time, but I suck
Well,
now. I, I,
all, I'm
I don't
sure
know. I'm just not as good anymore.
yeah, I'm sure you've seen all week long on all the social media outlets the big talk AEW
Oh yeah.
releasing a little bit of info on their game. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm a gamer. I've currently got 2K20. I think 2K19 is better, but I think what we're about to see is some old school brought back with some new flavor. My buddy Brian, who if you watched a couple weeks ago, or if you're a Patreon member on the watch along, he's a diehard fan of this theory they're coming out with that it's like the old school No Mercy style of game that WCW put out. So, do you remember playing that way back in the day, Dustin?
Yeah. I haven't played many games for a while, but I just played my WCW NWO Revenge, which was made by like the same people there. That's my favorite
Nice.
game of all time for
Yeah.
N64 or any platform.
Yeah,
But like
exactly.
whatever
Everybody, the same
97 to like
boat.
2000 were the best.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Same
just
boat.
had great rosters. They were easy to play. They were fun. It was amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. I heard little bits and stuff like that they were doing this like months ago. Their referee, Aubrey Edwards,
Mm-hmm.
um, she was talking a little bit about it on the Jericho podcast, and
Sure.
I
Yep.
listened to it because she came out to Rocky Mountain Pro a few times a couple years ago, and so we got to work with her. So I'm like, I'll check it out, and that's where I first heard about they were going to do these games. But then, yeah, I just recently heard that it was with the same makers of those old school games that
Yeah,
I love and everybody else does.
she's tied in. Who would know that, or who would have known if you didn't follow her? But she's very into games, has a degree for that stuff, so
Yep.
has her hands all over this, as well as Kenny Omega. I don't know what to think about that. I just hope for the best. Let's just put it that way. So that's one scrambled thing I got for you. Let me scramble something else up for you, Dustin. Tonight, another one of the most craziest, most terrible, worst things you could ever watch. Talking Shop Mania 2. Did you watch did you watch the first one?
I didn't get to see the first one, but I heard it was
Man,
just craziness,
parody galore,
just random stuff
obviously.
you could think of. Yeah.
I know that obviously it did the first one did well because here we are talking about the second one. And I listen to them guys as well. The Talking Shop Boys, the good brothers with Rocky Romero, and they've been talking about it for a while. It sounds like, man, they might be going down another one. Who knows? This is just if you want to
Guys are,
see,
yeah.
I guess, the worst crap ever that's got a little bit of wrestling involved, but yet some of your old school favorite wrestlers, check out Talking Shop
Those
Mania
guys are
2.
creative and just hilarious. It'll be interesting no matter what they do. Like that's just
Let me be
guaranteed.
honest with you, Dustin. As I talk about this stuff and watch this madness, as we may call it, why can't I do something like this? Why can't we do something that's crazy like this and make all the money there? Anyways.
Yeah.
All right, man. It's that time on the Scrambled Egg segment, Dustin. As we were talking about at the beginning of the show, the Masters is going on this weekend. And as you said, you don't play, or you try to play golf. You don't watch it, but I'm going to put you on the spot, buddy. I want to know, who do you think is going to win the green jacket this weekend?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm not a huge golf buff, but I mean, it's hard not to always think about, Tiger is up there always, but I mean, hey, you never know. Like, if they have Gallows and Anderson booking this, you might have a run in from Jack Nicklaus or somebody. So
Yeah, good call, good
know.
call. Yeah, good scramble. I got you. So what you're saying is
run in.
So you're going Happy Gilmore. That's it.
Yeah, swerve, bro. Watch out for Happy Gilmore. Shooter McGavin, maybe.
All right on, man. Well, I'll throw another egg at you, and I'm gonna go with. I originally was gonna say Tiger Woods, but after what I've been seeing, I think he's gonna have a chance, but I don't think he's gonna have enough for Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas, I think, is gonna pull off the green jacket this year, and that's my prediction on the scrambled eggs. Hey, Dustin, before we wind things down and I let you go, just a few more things to talk to you about here on the scrambled eggs, but I want you to let some of my listeners and all of our fans out there know what's coming up next for you in the future, bud.
Well, we're supposed to have a big show here Friday night. Getting ready. It was originally supposed to be, at our Bierstadt Lager House, but because of COVID, that's changing. But we're still going to bring the fans a live stream on Twitch, 8 p.m., just as planned. But we'll be at our training facility at Fast Performance here in Denver, and we're still going to have a show as planned. So keep a lookout for that. But like I said, we're just flying on the seat of our pants here, see what happens with everything. But all you need to know is the wake will be there. We will be running the show. We will be taking out anybody in our way. And don't worry, this Rocky Mountain Pro Championship will still be right here where it belongs with the Vulture.
That's awesome news. Like I'm bummed myself because, I was hoping I could make my debut with the Wake this evening, but obviously things have been put on hold. So I guess all you fans out there are just going to have to wait.
One day, man. One day.
One day. That's right. Well, that's all right, man. We'll stay on the positive side and hope that things are going to shake out better here than very near future for Rocky Mountain Pro. I don't know, man. I think this next time I'm not going to tell you or anybody I got tickets, because every time I've got tickets now, they've been refunded because of, well, we all know why. So, hey, staying on the Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling subject, Dustin, just recently there was a combine out in Louisville. We all know that Al Snow Wrestling is combined with you guys and several other people, but he ran a combine. Can you tell me what went down and who went out there from Rocky Mountain here in Colorado?
So we had a bunch of guys go out there. We had some of our wrestlers out there. We had some Chongo Bronson was out there, Atiba, Bruce Wayans, our charge champion currently.
Bruce Wayans.
Yeah, we had like a bunch of wrestlers. We even had some the other guys too. We had production guys. Kelly Dowdy made it out there. He's also a referee. We had Scotty Long, who is a strength conditioning coach at Fast Performance where we train, and he works with like the Colorado Mammoth and does with baseball players as well. And now he's with Rocky Mountain Pro, and he helps us out.
Been on this show, we all know. Shout out to Scotty Long. We love him.
That's right. He's a great guy, and I've run through some training with him, and it's legit, man. He'll kick your butt. And,
I'm getting closer. I told the wife the other day. I said I think it's getting closer to time I need to get my fat butt back into shape. But,
yeah, so
we'll see.
We had a bunch of guys and go out there and check it out, and like I said, from all areas of Rocky Mountain Pro, like in and out of the ring guys, and so everybody got a chance to show what they could do, and they ran them through cardio drills and workouts, and in-ring stuff. You know, they were a part of some of the shows out there and had some matches, and they got everything was watched and critiqued by Al Snow, of course, like you said, who
Sure. Yeah.
owns it all, runs it, um, and also with Dan Severn was out there, former NWA World Champion, UFC champion, like some legit guys out there.
Yeah, definitely. I caught a little bit of information on Twitch as I follow you guys on Twitch, obviously, almost every single day, all the time, whenever I have time. But yeah, that's what was said by Kelly, that there was a lot more talent out there than what he was expecting, and it was very cool to kind of be around them talent. I obviously am very jealous of that, and hopefully someday I'll get a chance to do something cool like that. That's very cool, man. So keeping things rolling here, Dustin, as I'm about to let you go here, and we bring in the wonderful Lauren to round out the show in the favorite segment, Toast. Man, I want to talk about two more things. One being, did you see this past week? I know it's kind of hard. You got to follow them because it's not televised on TV, but AEW Dark, which is on YouTube. But the team of the TNT, does that ring a bell to you at all?
Yeah, I've heard of them. I didn't watch this week's Dark or nothing, but
so
yeah,
that's the twin boys of Devon Dudley.
Yep.
Pretty cool, man. It caught my eye right away. I mean, huge, obviously for Halloween. I was fully Ray Dudley, but it caught my eye right away, and I watched. These dudes got something going for themselves. They obviously did not get over in this match, but dude, very bright future for two boys that look just like their dad. Some of the mannerisms are it's silly. Even Taz was talking about it on the commentary. But yeah, if you didn't get a chance to checking them guys out, check them out, because I'm not saying they're going to be AEW talent. We don't know what they're going to be yet, but wherever they go, as long as they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to be pretty impressive.
But you never know. You gotta watch that Dark, because you never know. Like, you keep seeing some people on there week after week, and look at our girl Abaddon. Now she's made it up to Dynamite. So
Yep.
former Rocky Mountain Pro Walkettes champion here, and
2-0.
old tag team partner. So never
That's
know.
awesome.
Like those guys will be ones to watch for, like you said.
Yep, that's why we have you guys on here, man. I love pushing you guys. I always say it every week, every time. That you got to shine the light on the people where they start at, because people don't get enough attention on that. That's for sure. Hey, one more thing or two more things here. Like I said, here's a good scrambled thing for you, Dustin. Did you know this? Paul Bear. Do you know where he got his name from? Paul Bear being that.
I know.
Originally, now let me tell you, originally for all you listeners out there that did not know, Paul Bear was around for a very long time in the wrestling world.
Yep.
He was an actual mortician. Yes, he was an actual mortician. But his first name in the game was Percy Pringle, which is my favorite name of all time. I think that he should have stuck with that one.
Percival Pringle the Third or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But do you know where he got Paul Bear from?
I can't remember. I know I've heard the story, but it's been a while. But I can't remember like how he got it, but I know I've heard that story.
Once again, we're leading back to my shirt, Legion of Doom. Hawk, I guess, at some point, this is a story I watched on the network, but he's at some point in the locker room, Latorium said, "You look like a Paul Bear," and that's, bam, it's stuck. And he was a mortician at that too, so it's kind of crazy. I just thought that would be a great thing to pass along to all you E's and B's listener fans out there, on the scrambled egg segment. Just, it blew my mind. Last scrambled egg I'm going to tell you about, Dustin, before I let you go, buddy. Did you know this? Texas Red, otherwise known as The Undertaker, his first match ever was against Bruiser Brody. Can you believe that?
That was his first match ever with Bruiser Brody, huh?
Yes. Well, obviously as Texas Red.
Yeah.
But I was looking that up and saw some footage on that, and it blew my mind that I never would imagine them two cross paths. When you think of Bruiser Brody, obviously the tragedy and all, but you just think that he was so far before his time, obviously. But yet, actually, when he was wrestling, you just feel like we were way too young to know anything about him, and he was gone way too early. So,
Yeah,
it
that's crazy.
it doesn't seem like them two paths should have ever crossed, but they did. So that's the last scrambled egg thing for you. Let me tell you this, Dustin. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you co-host it with me today. I've enjoyed every minute of it. We're definitely going to have to continue this tradition. And like I said, I can't wait to get to see you guys here really, really soon. I need to catch up with all the talent there at Rocky Mountain Pro. But before I let you go, Dustin, is there anything you got for me or anybody out there in the E's and B's land?
Like I said, first of all, I just appreciate you supporting Rocky Mountain Pro. One of these days, we're gonna get you at one of these shows. We're gonna have a beer, and you can come hang out and see the wake live and in person, and hang out with the champ, and we'll BS a little bit. And but in the meantime, like I said, everybody can catch us on Twitch. We're always on there. But like I said, this tonight, Friday night, 8 p.m. We'll have a live stream for the show. Um, any details, check us out, rmpwrestling.com. Check out the Vulture. Look me up. Twitter at Dustin Uhrich. Any of that stuff. Like, we're all over the place. We're on YouTube. Like any of that. But yeah, we appreciate all the support and keep checking us out. And like I said, we're looking forward to all the stuff coming up in and out of Rocky Mountain Pro with Survivor Series coming up. Like you said, 30 years of the Undertaker. It'll be interesting to see what surprises and what people they got there to celebrate his career and all that.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah, that's going to be real
Interesting
cool.
to see where everybody goes with all the brands because there's a lot going on, like you said.
Well, I totally agree with you, man. It's like I said, it's been fun. We're going to definitely do it again. But
That's
until
right.
next time, Dustin, man, make sure you eat your breakfast, buddy.
Hey, I will, man. I'm a breakfast guy, so you
All
can count the
right.
Vulture in for having breakfast. I'm down.
All right, my man. All right. Thank you, buddy. See you next time.
Thanks, man.